Hello everyone. So in this video, let me show you how I have been using org mode to create a video course. Now, in case you don't know, I use org mode for doing a lot of things. Things like planning my day-to-day work, keeping track of my notes, and I basically plan my life using org mode. And when I say I plan my life, I'm not really exaggerating. I'm not really uh, joking here. I do a lot of things using org mode. Things like keeping track of my long-term goals, keeping track of my medium-term, short-term goals. And when I keep track of my goals, I basically break down those goals uh, to actual activities that I need to do on a daily basis. Now, today I thought I'll probably share how I have been using org mode to work on my course, video course for Udemy. I do have a couple of courses on Udemy, but those courses were earlier published through a publisher. But now I'm trying to do it myself because now I have plenty of time because I left my job and I'm now, of course, doing a lot of things. But because I have time, I can manage my time as I like. So I'm dedicating a couple of hours every day to work on this video course that I'm working on. Now the course is actually on Jira work management. Jira, in case you don't know, is a very popular tool for issue tracking, bug tracking. You can use Jira for a variety of use cases. But today I'm not really here to talk about Jira, but I'm here to talk about how I use org mode. Now, if you look at this particular activity, so in org mode, what you can do, you can actually have different headers, different basically tasks. So this is of course one task called mastering Jira work management, which is the name of the activity. But the good thing about org mode is that you can actually store information under this header. So this is of course one heading. Under it I have things like deadline. And by the way, you don't have to have deadline. You don't really have to use for example log book. So when I work on my activities, I also like to keep track of the time I have been spending. Now the main thing for me is the schedule here. Of course, deadline is important. My aim is to finish this by Friday this week, which is unlikely. But again, deadlines are there to give you some direction, to give you some sense of urgency. But it is okay. I don't really have to make sure that I do finish the course by 10th of December. If not 10th, maybe 15th. I'm willing to change it. Now, deadline is of course deadline, but the important thing here is the schedule. Now, schedule is basically an activity, or basically for any activity, you can actually tell org mode that you want to work on this particular activity every day, maybe from 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. or till 12 o'clock in the day. And using +1D, it means that this particular activity will be repeated every day. Of course, now till your end date, which is of course the deadline on top. Now the main thing here is that because I'm working on a video course, and video course or any book, by the way, it needs to have some structure. Basically, in this particular book, I will be, or not a book, but a course, I will have different slides that I will be using as my reference. So when you're building courses for Udemy, I think it is always good to have a mix of some presentations and at the same time some hands-on tutorials, quizzes, and also of course the actual video itself. Now what I'm doing here is I'm trying to give this video course a structure. Now what I'm doing here is for this particular course, I'm keeping track of all the slides that I need to have. Things like slide number 0, slide number 1, and 2, 3, and 4. So I'll have a lot of slides, or a lot of videos, I should say videos. But because I'm using org mode and I have this a way to break it down, basically create this hierarchy. So in the first video that I will create, I'll basically use a slide which is going to be, for the course overview. So I can of course define and tell org mode that these are all my slides. And by the way, you can also use org mode to actually create a presentation, which I'm still thinking whether I should use org mode to actually export everything to, let us say, a PDF file or maybe any HTML based presentation. I'm also thinking whether I should use maybe LibreOffice, because why not? It is much more convenient, and because when you're using LibreOffice, you can actually share it with others if you want. You can also easily export it to PPTX if you have to. So most likely I will use LibreOffice, which I started exploring, but you can also use org mode. I think for my videos on YouTube, I think it is okay if I continue to use org mode to present something, because you can. There is a presentation mode, org presentation mode that you can use, which I think I covered. No, I have covered it a couple of times. So you can actually use org mode to present as well, and also to export. I mean, that is always a possibility, which I have also shared in the past. Now, the main thing here is that because this particular course will have different sections, and within each section there will be different lectures. So what I will be doing is I will basically start with different, when I plan my course or a book, it could be a video course or a book, I usually start with the high level. So section 1, and section 1 will have introduction. Then within that section 1, I'll have different lectures or videos. So the first one would be about the company Atlassian. Then second one would be what is Jira, and so on. So basically section 1 will have different lectures, and different lectures will probably have maybe more videos if there is a need to do further breakdown. And the good thing about org mode is that you can actually use this different leveling. I remember we started with this high level. So there is a concept of folding. So you start, let us say one day you wake up and you realize, okay, I have a great idea, like a high level vision. So this is like your high level vision, your goal, a book on mastering Jira work management with real life examples plus automation. You can then break it down. You can actually then go further and add more information. So this is what I have been doing, and I actually have been using org mode for doing a lot of variety of things, but because I thought this particular use case of using org mode to write a book or to create a video course is also very much applicable, because I do it, and I thought I'll probably share how you can also do something similar. And again, great thing about this particular setup is that for each and every level, of course, this main activity here on top is also a to-do. And when it is to-do, it is going to appear somewhere in the agenda. And each and every item, each and every sub-header, sub-tree will and can also be a to-do item. And this can be useful because, let us say, at the very high level, you want to keep track of maybe the overall percentage, for example. And what you can do is maybe in this particular course you have, let us say, 1, 2, and maybe for each and every level, if you convert them to actual to-do items, on top you will see that this will show you the actual progress, 0%. Now as you are proceeding further, if I move it to done, you can see the progress to 33%, and then 66%, and then finally 100%. Great, right? Because this is going to roll up the work for you. So this is actually amazing because it is all text based. It is all there is nothing complicated here if you compare this with your traditional tools. And by the way, if you want to also count, like you can use slash and you press control CC, it will do some, it will refresh the level for you. So the same thing will also work with the count and percentage. So in case you prefer doing these calculations, things like maybe you want to keep track of your overall progress, how many items you have finished within this particular task, you can do that. And of course, I'm also using a logbook where I'm keeping track of the time I have been spending on this particular activity. So you can, because there is one specific section here for logbook, time log, you can actually report on it. So you can always pull out a report from org mode. It's called as clock time. That will basically tell you that you have been spending this much time on this activity. This is your overall progress. And imagine when you're doing it across your different agenda files. So the way org mode works, you have different files that can be part of the agenda, org agenda. So you can actually have a roll-up view of everything that you're doing. So if my goal is to, because usually my goals are like buying a house in south of France, or maybe buying a Ferrari or a Mercedes, not really Mercedes, sorry, Maserati, for example. So I can actually keep track of these things in a single file, and then I can break it down. And to buy a house in south of France, maybe by the beach, I may need to finish this book maybe in December, or maybe in the next couple of days, or by next week. And when I actually complete this work, imagine this particular progress will roll up. And usually my goals are not just alone sitting in a file. My goals always have dates. So if I want to buy a house in south of France, I may want to do it in the next 3 years, maybe 4 years. You never really know. But when you're doing these things on a regular basis, consistently, and you have a system to follow, I think this will not only help you achieving your goals, but it will also help you in not getting anxious about whether you're making progress or not. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I just wanted to show you how org mode can help you in doing wonderful things if you have a lot of plans, goals, like me, like a house. If you want to buy a house in south of France, or in Goa, or anywhere, to be honest, or any goals that you may have, smaller goals, bigger goals, long-term goals, use org mode. Alright, that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.